Welcome, everybody, to the broadcast tonight. I'm Trevor, and I am your presenter, and we are talking Twitter for Business this time. This is the third installment on our Twitter series. And in the previous two, if you haven't seen them yet, I'd advise you to go check them out. But the previous two talked about using Twitter on a personal level, right? Having your own personal Twitter account, and specifically using it so that you could sort of learn what it's like just to be one of those normal people out there on Twitter, right? Well, I think that's valuable, and I know I've made that point several times in the past. I think it's valuable, and hopefully over the last couple of weeks you've had a chance to make your own account and to use it a little bit and see why or why not you'd like to use it in the future. I don't really care if you guys don't use it in the future, but at least you've used it a little bit so you can know, okay? And now we're going to look at Twitter from more of a business perspective. Here's the thing, though. I'm not going to be able to cover every little marketing strategy on Twitter tonight, not even close. In fact, my goal is tonight, I want to talk to you guys about just designing your Twitter page so it looks professional and business-like, because that's step one. Really, you shouldn't do anything else until you have a really nicely well-designed Twitter business page, okay? So here's my first piece of advice. If you haven't set up a Twitter account for yourself, of course do it and use it. But for your business, for the business side of it, you need to set up a separate account altogether. So get a Gmail account for the business, um, if you don't have one already, and create a separate account just so that we can use that for your social media. And I would recommend a Gmail account if you don't have one for the business. So have that, and then go create your account on Twitter. Now I'm going to show you just real quick. Let me log out of this current account that I'm in. Usually, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because I do this in one of the other presentations, but when you get to Twitter, a lot of times it'll look like this, and you'll just look for the sign up button right here. You click sign up, and it takes you to this form where you can create an account. And usually it's pretty simple. It's clean and easy, okay? Just your name right here, first and last, right? I'd put in Trevor Ship. This option right here is for your email or phone number. So put in your email, whatever that is. Your business email, preferably, because we're creating a business account. Your password, put in your password, and then this is the important thing for a business. All right, number one, when you're doing a business, you want to make sure your username corresponds with what you're doing for your business, right? So if you're selling, say, baby products, and you've got a domain name called mybabyproducts.com, your Twitter username or your Twitter handle should really reflect that. So I try to use whatever my domain name is. Now here's the problem, guys. You only get 15 characters in a username. So if my domain name is mybabyproducts.com, I'm going to go mybabyproducts as my username, okay? Well, so here's the problem with that, right? If that's actually my domain name, it looks like that username is taken on Twitter. So if you find that, if you have a domain name that you put in and it's taken already, just come up with something. You could do, I guess you could put the number 1 out next to it, or you could maybe put the word, well, geez, we're up against, that's 15 characters right there. So all I have is just the ability to put in a number here. So I guess suffice it to say, in most cases, if you have a registered domain name and you own the rights to it, in most cases it's going to be available as your Twitter username as well. But where it's not, come up with something related. Okay, so maybe my baby products is taken, so you could say, baby products, now or whatever, and as long as it's related to your domain, you're probably going to be okay. All right. A really great example of that is for this specific business. When I created my Twitter account for it, this is the website right here. It's called mockingjpinstore.com. And it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 characters. So if I went to Twitter and tried to sign up for Mockingjay Pin Store, I would get cut off at the T. And that would work okay too, I guess. I chose instead to use a different Twitter handle, and I'll show you that. Let me go log into this account because this account is going to be what we use here for our example. So mockingJPinStore@gmail.com. You can always log in with your email, whatever email you use to create the account. And then I'll log in. So here's the account. Hopefully you guys can see this okay. I'm going to highlight this account's Twitter username or handle. See how it's Hunger Games Pins. Hunger Games Pins. So that's what I sell, right? So that I felt like was an appropriate handle. Had Twitter let me do more, I would have liked to have had Mockingjay Pin Store as the handle, but I only have 15 characters, and so I can only do what I can do. Luckily, guys, it's not the end of the world. Like your username, it's pretty important to have a nice brandable username, but you can always actually change it once it's been set up. There's a way to change it within your account. In fact, let me show you. If you want, I can go here to settings up here at the top. I just click on my little icon. That's for profile and settings. And I go here to settings, and right here is your username. You can actually change that later on. So try to come up with something that you want to brand right away, but I guess if you're devastated later about your username, you can always come and change it. All right? So that's the first thing you want to do. You guys got to get a good username or Twitter handle. Now, when we did it for your personal account, it didn't matter, right? It was just maybe your name or something you liked. For the business, it needs to be branded, okay? Okay, so that's item number 1, username. Okay, item number 2. Let's actually go to this account here. This is an account we created and hardly ever used, and I'll tell you why. When we set up this website right here, this Mockingjay Pin Store, we were very fortunate because we did some marketing early in the search engines and pulled a pretty high ranking early on. In fact, we were ranking on the first page of Google for our main core keyword phrase, which was Mockingjay Pin. Okay. So I didn't have really any need, honestly, because I was real happy with our rankings in Google. We were getting plenty of traffic, and I didn't really feel like I had a need to really promote too much via Twitter. I set up the account just so I had it, and so this is going to serve as a really good example to you guys because this is an account we've done a minimal amount of tweets, 105. We actually hadn't tweeted until today for over 2 years. Very rarely use Twitter on this account. Now, if I were actively trying to promote and grow this business, I would be using Twitter on a daily basis, okay? So my message is to you, if you're already making a bunch of money on your site, then maybe you don't need to spend a lot of time on Twitter, but if you're not there yet, you should be on here and you should be using this for marketing. But notice, I want you to notice for me, just a sec, this right here is my profile photo, and you'll be asked when you create your account to add in a profile photo. This is the second thing I want to talk about. Your profile photo can be 400 by 400 pixels. That's actually the recommended size. So I would recommend whatever you add in and use as your profile photo, make it 400 by 400. Now, how much is 400 by 400, guys? A lot of you guys who've been selling on eBay know a little bit about pixel size, right? Roughly how big is 400 by 400? Well, I can show you. If we go to pixlr.com, pixlr.com, if we scroll down here in Pixlr and we launch the web app, I'm going to create a picture or an icon here that's 400 by 400 to show you what I mean. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to hit Create New Image. And I'm going to have these options to size it. I'll do 400 width by 400 height, and I'm going to hit OK. There you go, guys, right there. I know it's going to be a little distorted because you're watching this recorded either on YouTube or you're watching this live, but that's 400 by 400, roughly a little smaller than the size of a pen on each side. So I would recommend you use a program like Pixlr and create a template like this that's 400 by 400, and then try to bring your logo into this template. Because ultimately, when you're creating a business Twitter account, you want this to be branded. Because every single time I do a tweet, and you'll notice it right down here, this little icon is always next to the tweet that I create, okay? And I want that to be my brand if I'm trying to really brand myself. So anyway, if you look on our site, here's our logo. It's kind of a blue version of a Mockingjay pin, and we just sort of blew up that logo, made it bigger, and then fit it in to one of these 400 by 400 squares. Okay. I guess as an example, I know this isn't a Pixlr tutorial. We've got another tutorial on this if you need it, but let me go open this logo that I have right here. This is one that I've saved. This is the Twitter icon that I've got. So let's say this was just some image of your logo that you wanted to move on to this template right here, your 400 by 400 template. In theory, you could drag this over. In fact, there we go. I don't know if you guys saw that. I'll do that again so you can see it real quick. I click on my picture that I want to drag in. So I clicked on this Twitter icon logo picture, and I went over here to the background, and I click and I drag this box right over here to this square, and I drop it, and there you go. I just dragged that image in. Okay, so that's how you could create one. It doesn't even necessarily have to be your logo, but in most cases, we'd recommend that your profile picture is something having to do with your logo. That comes highly recommended. I'd prefer to see you guys do that. Okay. Questions about that, guys? I don't want to spend a lot of time on the technicalities of using Pixlr today. I've got another webinar for that if you want to see it, so ask me if you need it. And we can do some more of this for practice later, but in essence, this is how you do it. Good with that, guys? If not, stop me. I don't mind taking a couple of questions about Pixlr right now if you've got them. Another example, let me find another picture here. I'm going to go File up here at the top, and then I'm going to go Open Image. And let me see if I can find another picture somewhere. Here's a picture. Oh, that one's too big. Let's take this picture right here. Okay, so here's a picture. If I wanted to use this in my Twitter 400 by 400, again, I would just click on it once. I'd come over here, I'd grab the background, click and hold, drag it, and drop it right here. Okay. Now, obviously, this original picture is much bigger, right? So I'm gonna have to, maybe size this picture down first if I want to get it to fit in here. I can sort of drag this around. Maybe I set it up like that, right? So you might have to size it down first if you want to get more in your template 400 by 400, if that makes sense. There's not anything, Angela. Good question. Angela just asked if there's anything on creating your own logo. There's not yet. I may have one of our web designers maybe put something together for us. There is some pretty cool stuff out there on YouTube that I can direct you to. Ask your coach about it, but we don't have anything in-house, at least at this point, on logo creation. We will later, though. Michelle, if your logo was created for you, ask your designers. Well, ask your coach. In this case, ask your coach, and then they can get you a copy of that logo. Okay. But if that's already happened, you may have already had the account created for you, and so anyway. But you can ask your coach about it for sure. Okay, so that sort of covers the profile picture. So brand yourself really well. Okay, and it looks good. I mean, if you do it that way, if you do the recommended size, 400 by 400, it's actually going to scale well to any device. So if you do, if you're looking at the Twitter page on a phone or a tablet or on a big screen, it's all going to look really good, and that's why they give you those specifications. Okay, so that's the profile photo. And yes, Angela, you should, if you've got, for every single business you've got, if you have 4 websites that are different niches altogether, you should have a Twitter account representing each. It's really hard to make any sense of Twitter if you've got one Twitter account for all your different sites. It would be almost impossible. So a good question. Okay, so let's go over here to what's called your bio. That's this section right here, guys. Now this is an opportunity. It's 160 characters that you've got to use here. But it's an opportunity for you to talk a little bit about your business. And whenever somebody comes and clicks on your Twitter profile, that's going to show up. Right? Just like this. So if somebody clicks on my profile, this is absolutely going to show up. And so it takes up some pretty prime real estate here at the top. You want some good messaging there. I would make sure at a minimum you're very clear about what it is you sell. Tell people what it is you sell. Don't try to get cute with it. Say, we sell XYZ. In this case, we wrote out, we sell really cool Mockingjay pins. You want one? We sell them in gold, silver, and bronze. $10 in free shipping. That's our message. That's it. Pretty straight to the point, right? Nothing flowery. Don't overthink it. Tell people what you sell, and tell people why they should care. Tell them what you sell and why it matters. I sell a full line of baby products, including cribs, clothing, and accessories. Free shipping. Buy one today. Bam. That's your message, right? Clear and to the point. Don't try to get cute with it. People are only going to glance at that, so tell them what they need to know. Okay. So that's your message. If I want to edit this, you can go to edit profile right here. And that's how you can edit everything. So let me show you that again, because that was kind of fast. Whenever you're on your Twitter page, just go over here to edit profile. And this is where you can change your photo right here. You can change your header, which we'll talk about in a minute. You can change the name on your account. So even though I'm Hunger Games Pins, that's my handle at Hunger Games Pins, I still want my domain name branded here. I'm Mockingjay Pin Store, so I brand my name right here at the top. Here's your 160 characters you get for your bio. Okay. Below that, you can say where you're located. In most cases, I just say United States if that's where you are. If you're in Australia, Australia. If you're in the UK, put the UK. You don't have to be very specific about where you're located. Just your country is fine. Unless it's a geographic thing, right? If you've got a local business, of course, that would be different. And then right here, you want to put in your URL, okay? So just your web address is fine, right? That's what I mean by your URL. Put in this case, mockingjaypinstore.com. And yes, that does count as a link, right? We've talked about in some of these marketing webinars the value of getting an inbound link to your site. Well, you just created a one-way direct inbound link from your social media profile into your website, which can be a valuable link. So that's very important that you have your URL there. But yeah, Catherine, so you heard that, right? Catherine just asked about the character limit. It's 160 here in your little bio. Can your logo be copyrighted? It can. In fact, whenever you get a logo created, and I know this isn't necessarily the time and the place to talk about this, but you can sort of copyright your logo. After all, you own it. It belongs to you. You don't have a lot of problems with people stealing it usually because it's your brand, and people rarely want to steal somebody else's brand. But yeah, you can enforce that, and you can come after people who are stealing your logo for sure. Free shipping, and yes, like if you guys offer, so Viola just asked, or Viola, sorry, just asked, I want to know about free shipping. How does that work for these kind of businesses? Well, we in most cases will recommend you offer free shipping because that's the way the internet's going. A lot of your competition is going to be offering it. Talk to your coach about it, but in essence, I like to really promote it anywhere I can, and so that's why here in my little bio, I'm talking about free shipping for sure. Okay. Now, here's one that I get a lot of questions about. Okay. It's this right up here. This is your header photo. Now, by default, you can make it just a certain color, which is what we did here. So we just chose this blue color. It's really uninteresting, but it works with our brand because our logo is a blue, and we just chose a blue to put up there, and so that works. The actual color is slightly different, which we can change. I'm actually going to show you how to do that here in just a second. But if you wanted just a straight flat color, you could do it. Edit profile, and then right down here where it says theme color, you can choose a color right here. Okay, purple or gray or whatever, right? Blue. Okay, and that'll change it. You just have to come up here to save changes, and then you'll have a blue color or whatever it is. You know, again, I think it's okay. I think you can probably step that up and make it better. It would be advantageous, in my opinion, to have more of an image up here. Okay, so here's the recommended size. It's 1500 by 1500. That's what Twitter recommends, and I would recommend you find something that fits those parameters pretty closely. 1500 by 1500 looks like this. If we go back here to our Pixlr account, if I go File and then New Image, I can do width 1500 and height 1500. It's a big image. This is what it looks like. This is only 46% of what it looks like. If I move this to 100%, this is about the size. Whoops. Let me stretch this out a little bit for you guys. See how big this is? It's actually it's bigger than my entire screen here. I can't stretch it out anymore, but it's bigger than that. So I can sort of scroll right here with the little bars. So it's a big image. In order to fill that up, you've got to have a really nice, high-resolution, good image. Or you could get in here and create a little banner for yourself with a series of different images. Now, I got to tell you, most of my clients aren't graphic designers, and that's not an expectation that we have for you guys, that you're graphic designers. You can learn just enough to be dangerous in a program like Pixlr, so you can create simple banners like this. But here's what I would recommend. If you're one of these people that's like, no way, I don't want to learn it, it looks too hard, well, then come up here and look in Fiverr.com. Do you guys ever use this? Fiverr, Fiverr.com. It's a little outsourced site, and I could come up here in Fiverr and I could look up Twitter banner, do a search, and I'm going to be able to find people that for $5 would create me a really nice Twitter banner. So here you go. Right? This person says, if I click on this, it says I will create a professional web header banner for $5. Now I don't know all the details behind this. You'd have to read more about specifically what they'll do. But I mean, for $5 you could get something made that's really nice. You could go to them and you could say, I want 1500 by 1500. I want you to use these 4 product images, and I want you to create a nice looking banner. Here's my website. I want you to use these types of colors, and you could probably get them to do it for $5. Okay, pretty cheap. And when you have options like that for $5, I mean, your time. It might take some of you guys who've never used Pixlr before. It might take you guys a couple of hours just to figure it out, and then you've got to create a banner for yourself. If you're not into that and you just want to pay for it, go to Fiverr. You can find something for cheap for sure. Catherine, you've managed to learn Pixlr well though. Catherine just said, I've created pictures for my blog, combining multiple layers on Pixlr. Yeah, Catherine, you've done a good job to where you've learned the basics to where it's probably easier for you just to create your own thing. And if that's the case, great. I think all you guys should know just a little bit about graphic design, being that you're marketers on the internet. You don't need to be experts, and that's why I give this to you as an option. But you want a good banner. I mean, I don't know. You look at any really professional looking Twitter account, right? Let me go to my home screen here. Let me just search a popular brand. Let's search eBay real quick. Let's see what eBay's banner looks like. There you go. eBay, they've got a professional looking logo right here, and here's their banner. Let's look up Amazon, see what their banner looks like. Interesting, right? They've got their logo here, so they're branded well. Right now, I guess maybe just in the interest of summer and color and green grass and beach balls, that's why they chose that picture, right? Give me another example. How about like Home Depot? No surprise there, right? Traditional Home Depot logo. And then they've got a little marketing messaging right up here. How about Overstock? There you go. Overstock uses their logo, and they just use a general picture here in the background. So there you go, guys. I mean, you can look up. I would recommend you look up your competitors and see what they're doing. What do they use in their banner? You can change your banner periodically depending on the time of year. You can change your messaging because obviously this is a big part of your profile. Like, you've got your logo here, but your banner stretches all the way across the top. That's why I think it's better than just a plain color. Twitter gives you that option for the plain color. Probably don't use it. Use a nice looking picture. That's what we should do on our Mockingjay account, right? We could even use one of our banners that we created here and maybe bring it over to Twitter. But that would be a much better option for sure. Questions about banners, guys, or does that kind of make sense? Yeah, Catherine says she's got a good YouTube tutorial on banners. Yeah, send me the link and I can send it out to everybody, Catherine. That'd be great. Twitter's all about branding. One of the things that they always talk about, and all the reading that I've ever done on Twitter branding and business profile creation, I really agree with this, and everybody agrees. They say your Twitter account should resemble in some way your website, meaning the colors should be similar. Obviously, the logo should be the same. And you look at Overstock, and they've got red text being used. They've got their logo. They've got, of course, indoor decor, which they sell a lot of. It should really resemble your site. Okay. Good. Well, it seems like that's pretty straightforward. Let's move on. Let's move on to the last thing that I want to say about your business account. Let me go back to the profile page for this Mockingjay one. When you're tweeting, okay, when you're creating messaging and you're tweeting on your account, your tweets will show up here on your account, obviously, right? If there's one place your tweets are going to show up, they're definitely going to show up here on your account. If you've got something that you want to make prominent and you want to stay at the top of your account, you can do something called a pinned tweet, okay? Now, I did an example for you guys today. This is what one looks like right here. You can see it's actually labeled pinned tweet. And all that means is that specific message, that specific tweet is going to stay at the top of my account no matter how many other tweets I create. In most cases, if you're doing Twitter and you're creating messaging and tweets, each subsequent tweet is going to work its way down the page and get lower and lower and lower and lower to where it can almost be gone because it's so low if you do a lot of tweeting. Well, if you pin a tweet, you basically force it to remain stuck to the top of your account. Why would you want to do that? Well, in this case, this is an example. So I pinned this just earlier today. And this is just an example. So I said huge summer blowout sale event. Okay. 25% all merchandise from July 16 to August 16. Shop now. And then I put my link. And then I added a picture for big sale. Okay. So if I'm out there doing any promotion or marketing on Twitter, if somebody comes and visits my profile page, which will happen to you guys a fair bit as you get out there and socialize and use your account, they're going to be forced to see this picture first, this picture and this message. So if you have a big sale that you want to promote, whatever it is, maybe you have a really great blog post that you just wrote that you want to promote on your Twitter account on a regular basis. You don't have to go in there and tweet every few hours about it. Tweet once and then pin it to your account. And then every subsequent tweet will go below that. So for example, if I wrote something as a test, and I'll do that right now. This is a test tweet for the webinar today. Okay, if I sent that out and hit tweet on this, okay, so there it is. It shows up right there. And then if I go out to my profile, notice that it's not at the top, right? My same marketing message is at the top. It goes just below it. So in other words, this is always going to stay on top. All subsequent tweets are going to go below that, okay? And by the way, if you screw up on a tweet and you want to get rid of it, it's really easy to get rid of. You just come to this little icon, this little dot, 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 this little ellipsis, click on it, and then hit delete tweet right here. You hear about people doing that all the time. Celebrities, news people who got onto Twitter and said something really stupid, right? And that's how they would get rid of their tweet if they said something really stupid, okay? So I'm not anticipating that'll happen for you guys. Maybe you make a spelling error or something and you want to delete it and try again. Anyway, that's how you do it, okay? All right, so if you want to pin a tweet, it's really easy to do, or unpin a tweet. It's right here under more. I can unpin from profile page, okay? So if I click unpin and I select that, the next time I do a tweet, the tweet I do will go on top of it. Here's an example. Let's do this one. Test tweet right here, okay? We'll hit tweet. There it goes. And by the way, guys, who's seeing this right now? If I put test tweet out there, who's going to see that messaging besides us right now? Yeah, my followers, right? Whoever's following me. Now, if I did test tweet, but then I did hashtag Hunger Games like this, and then did a tweet, anybody who looks up that hashtag could potentially see my tweet, okay? We talked about the value of a hashtag before, but you'll want to use a lot of hashtags in your tweets so that not only your followers are seeing your messaging, but people that are looking up and following a certain hashtag at a certain time can also potentially see your tweet. That's the value of doing a hashtag, okay? All right, so let's go back over to my page and see what happened. In fact, they show up on top, right? Because we unpinned our initial message here that we had before. If I want to pin one of these, I click more, I do pin to profile page, and then that would stay up on top, okay? Hopefully that makes sense. All right, Catherine, I got your YouTube tutorial. I'm just going to shoot it out to everybody, send to all. Everybody should get that link. That's from Catherine. That's her tutorial that she was talking about a little bit earlier. Thanks for doing that. Okay, let me delete these first of all. Delete tweet. Delete tweet. And this was just an example. So I'm also going to delete tweet. Okay? All right. Okay, as far as your profile is concerned, guys, that's it. That's what I wanted to cover. If you're doing this for the first time, make sure you do all the steps we just went through. A good username or handle, a good profile photo using your logo, a good bio message like this one right here. Put in your URL so you can get that inbound link, and so customers can find your website when they find you on Twitter. A good image for your banner, and a good pinned tweet as needed. I don't always pin tweets. I only do that when I have some sort of a marketing message or a promotion or a blog post or maybe a new product that I'm trying to promote. That's when you would use the pinned tweet. Okay? Questions in general, guys, about designing and setting up your business account for Twitter. I'm going to open it up for just a second. I'm not going to try to cover marketing strategies tonight for your business Twitter account. We'll probably do that in the next installment on our series. I still get a little bit of resistance as I talk to my clients throughout the week and then talk with people in general about Twitter. The concern is I still just don't see how this is going to help my business find customers. I'll show you more about why Twitter can do just in fact that next week. Probably. I think we're going to do next week. I'm not 100% sure on the topic, but I'm hoping that's what we cover. And it can. I mean, by the way, I know most people, when you think of social media, I know you think Facebook because that's what the majority of you guys are on. But as we've talked about before, there are hundreds of millions of people who actively use Twitter. I think we said over 300 million. That's a lot of people out there, and there's a segment of those people out there that are going to be your customers. If we can use our Twitter account to find them, we're going to be in good shape. We're going to be able to do some direct marketing. And I can honestly say, I know for a fact I've used this Twitter account with this business, this Mockingjay business, and I've gotten myself direct sales because I've used it. And I'll probably show you more about how I did that next time. Oh, the link doesn't work, Robert. Hold on, let me test it. Oh yeah, the link doesn't work. Catherine, if you want to try copying and pasting that link again, it doesn't look like it works. Kim, I'm gonna read your message. Kim says, now I'm seeing the value of Twitter as a business account. I had no idea there was an actual site. Of course it would work. Yeah, and it will work. We'll teach you more in detail how to use it. It is definitely good for business. Okay, Catherine says she's going to resend. While Catherine's doing that, I'm going to go ahead and turn off the recording. For all of you guys that are here live with me, thank you very much for coming. If you're watching this recorded, go ahead and apply these things. Set up your account, build it out, design it, make it look good so that you're ready to actually start using it. You really shouldn't get out there and start promoting using Twitter until you've done just what we've talked about tonight. Okay? All right, thanks for coming along.